Welcome back to WagerTalk TV. I'm joined in studio with my two partners in crime. We've got Brian Leonard. You can follow him at B Leonard Sports. And then we've got my stat man, Ralph Michaels. You can follow him at Cal Sports LV on Twitter. Guys, we've got a nice game coming up on the weekend with the NBA. This is the time of the years where, getting closer to the playoffs. We like to see these matchups of teams that we are going to see in the playoffs. There's no tanking here. You've got the Rockets at the Celtics on Sunday. The Rockets, for the first time this year, at full strength. They went in without full strength and beat Golden State last Saturday with James Harden out. Brian, I'll start with you. And how do you see this one?
We kind of touched on this last week when we did the video about how Houston has really fared well against the best teams in basketball. Do you still consider Boston one of the best teams? From a talent standpoint, from a coaching standpoint, yes. They just have not played well as of late. But the Rockets now 7-2 against what I would consider the top 5 teams from a power rating standpoint in the NBA this year.
Who are your top 5, if you don't mind?
Well, you've got Boston, you've got Golden State,
Milwaukee,
you've got Milwaukee, you've got Toronto. The East, the top teams in the East are really good. And it would not surprise me if Golden State does get knocked off in the West. But this in this year, and Golden State right now is not playing with a lot. We talked about that on the other video. They're not playing with a lot of urgency. But the Rockets seem to get up for these type of teams. If the point guard was healthy the entire series, they may be the champions this year. They were certainly outplaying Golden State. But 7-2 when they play the top 5 teams. Boston 6-11 against top 10. That tells you a lot when you get down to the end of the season on who you want to look at for the playoffs. Boston has not performed well against the best teams. And unlike Golden State, who has the talent to just blow it off because they've been there, Boston's done nothing yet. They still have not won the Eastern Conference. I make this line. We didn't discuss what the line was going to be. I think Boston's going to be a short favorite here. I made them 3. I've got no problem taking Houston in this game.
I made it 3.5 was my number. And Ralph, sending it to you, you talk about Houston and getting the players back. The very next game, Harden came back after the Golden State game. And ironically, the first time having everybody on the floor, Capella back, Harden and CP3, he breaks his string of 30 plus, scoring,
which is good.
which makes our team better.
Yeah. Now you're a team player. Yeah,
we used to talk about that back in the day with Kobe and the Lakers. If Kobe scored 45 points, they generally lost those games. If Kobe had less points and the points were dished around, the Lakers were better. Same way with LeBron in Cleveland, if he doesn't have to do it all himself. Clint Capella, defensively, I think is the biggest difference for the Houston Rockets. I thought it was a bigger loss for them when he was out as opposed to CP3.
Well, Houston, when the line's between the 5, so it means they're playing someone very good at home or they're playing someone decent on the road. They're 7-13 over under, 3-9 their last 12 games. So, that shows you that they do play defense against better teams. But a unique scheduling spot. Houston goes to Charlotte on Wednesday, then they're home on Thursday, and then they travel back to Boston. So a bizarre skip going all the way to Charlotte, coming back, and then going to Boston. But they have 2 days off, so it's an advantage. Boston will be on 1 day rest, Houston on 2. Houston this year 3-3, just against the spread on 2 days rest, just FYI. But I don't know what to make of the Boston team, to be honest with you. Last 7 games, they're 2-5. They lost straight up as a 9.5-point favorite, a 10-point favorite, and an 11.5-point favorite. You want to talk about some money line value fading those Celtics. I mean, that's remarkable. 2-5 straight up and losing as basically a double-digit favorite in 3 games. Interesting note on Boston, though. Boston is 0-2 as a home dog this year. But if Boston is at home as a favorite of 1-8, they're 13-1 against the spread. So as a small home favorite at home, they're 13-1. As a home dog, they're 0-2. You talked about their record, which included home and away against the best teams. So obviously, they haven't played those teams well on the road. But at home, they've taken care of business. I look for a little playoff attitude. If Boston's going to If Boston's going to start playing better, it's going to be because of their defense. You know, the Houston numbers with Capella back, I would tend to lean with the under. You know, the scoring totals have still been high. So, you know, my only real lean on this game would be looking at an underplay based on playoff type atmosphere in the Boston Gardens, or the TD Gardens, whatever it's called now.
Just throw a question out to the two of you. You talk with the unders there. Because we had such high scoring at the beginning of the season, where the teams, let's face it, all these teams, the regular season, it's just jockeying for position. They don't care till we get to the playoffs. Now that we're getting to that, March is that final month, that final push to get that, you know, last playoff positioning where you want. And because there's such a bias to what we've seen all season long, I think there's going to be a lot of value with unders down the stretch of the season. Do you guys agree or disagree?
I agree, and you got to keep in mind at this point of the season, if you're playing teams in your own conference, you've played these teams already before. So it's very similar to college basketball. I know Rolf's the expert in college basketball, but I've been finding a lot of unders playing college basketball in conference action. A lot of value in that, and I could see the same thing.
You know, one last note is that, you know, on a previous video, Teddy was doing his yard sale. Houston, Golden State has already said they don't care if they're the 1 seed. I think Houston is the most important team to focus on if they're going to be close to the 1 seed, because it would help them the most. They showed that they can win with Golden State if they have the home edge. If they were healthy,
they had them on the road. They had them on the road last year.
I don't think they need the home edge. I think they match up really well with the Warriors.
But I think they would be the team that would go out and try to put a streak of wins together to get that home edge and be the number 1 seed. So, you know, they know they're there. Having that 1 seed, I think, helps them, helps their team, helps their fans. So that's just something I'll keep an eye on personally moving forward with the Rockets.
All right, so you lean to Boston.
I lean to Houston.
Oh, you lean to Houston, sorry, and you lean to the under. Yep. I'm not going to give you anything on this video. I don't lean to either one right now, but I am going to give the listeners something to circle for down the road involving Boston. This is a big game for them against Houston. After this is the final game of their homestand. They go out on a 4-game West Coast road trip. They started off at Golden State.
Yep.
They go to Golden State.
Tuesday, just with a day rest.
Yeah.
So Sunday, Monday off, and they're playing Tuesday at Golden State.
They play Golden State on Tuesday. If they have any kind of decent game, they don't get run out of the building. I'm going to give you a great situational spot.
Sacramento? The game
Look
after?
at Sacramento. This is a team that's playing under the radar. They're a good team. They are fighting to try to get that 8th spot. It's going to be a horrendous spot for the Boston Celtics, because not only after the Golden State,
Lakers.
they play. You play Houston at home, you got Golden State on the road, then you go to Sacramento. And I remember Brian on videos for a couple of years was just
we were dogging.
Yeah, you were dogging. Who wants to go to Sacramento?
Now we're talking about actually going to Sacramento.
Yeah, and then they go back and play the 2 LA teams. So if you want to circle a Marco situational sandwich spot, you got it right there. That Sacramento game coming up next week. So that's it for this video. Hey, guys, I want to tell you, every Monday at WagerTalk, every play, whether it is a 3%, 4%, or 5% play, you get it for $9 at WagerTalk. Head over there every Monday, find your favorite capper, find a guy that's hot, take it, make some money, just $9. Normally those plays are $25 or $30. We'll be back with more here at WagerTalk TV.